With the announcement of Smash Bros. For the Nintendo Switch being shrouded in such mystery, people have begun to speculate like crazy. Obviously, the game is very, very unknown to the public. We don't even know what it looks like, if it's a port or an original game. Hell, we don't even know the title yet. However, that hasn't stopped any fans, including myself, from speculating the hell out of this game, and that's what I'm going to attempt to be doing within the next couple of videos. Speculating about an upcoming game is one of the best parts of said game, in my opinion. It's so fun to try and decipher what we will be playing with within just a couple of months. And arguably the most important part of this are the characters. I mean, these are the people that you are actually controlling and fighting with. So with that all out of the way, here are new characters that I want for the Nintendo Switch version of Super Smash Bros. Keep in mind these are characters I want, they might not be characters you want. If there are any that you want that I didn't mention, let me know in the comments below. And with that all out of the way, let's get started with my number one pick, which are the Splatoon 2 Inklings. So you're probably very confused, but there are some things I think they could do with the Inklings that weren't obviously shown off in the cinematic trailer, so I'm going to go over those right now. And don't worry, the rest of the picks will be actually new characters. So I believe that the Splatoon 2 Inklings shouldn't really just be Inklings. They should also be Octolings. You could be able to choose what different Splatoon 2 character you wanted by cycling through their skins, and maybe you could choose the orange Inkling girl, the blue Inkling boy, maybe some Octolings because they seem to be focusing on that a lot with the new update. Hell, you could maybe even choose one of the famous pop stars we've begun to know and love, such as Callie, Marie, hell, even Marina or Pearl. I think that would be a great way to kind of expand the amount of Splatoon presence in that game without actually giving those characters another slot. Next up, we have a bit of a random one, the Balloon Fighters. So for anyone who doesn't know, Balloon Fight is an NES game where you pretty much fight with balloons. It hasn't really gotten anything else about it. I mean, it's been a stage in Smash Bros, but the actual representation from that game has been limited to, well, just a stage. I think it would be awesome to not only get to play as one of these balloon fighters in HD, but hell, Nintendo, make another balloon fight game. The co-op opportunities of the Joy-Con literally fit perfectly to this, plus the red and blue style matches the neon Joy-Cons perfectly. I honestly think an HD version of Balloon Fight would be an awesome game to have on the Switch, and bringing one of those characters into Smash would just be the beginning. Next up, we have Ice Climbers. Yeah, everyone wants Ice Climbers. Sakurai even stated that he had these characters working in Super Smash Bros. For Wii U, but could not fit them into the clumsy 3DS version. Well, now you don't have that limitation, you have the Nintendo Switch on your side. Bring these beloved fighters back. Next up, Bomberman. Bomberman is interesting. Bomberman isn't obviously directly made by Nintendo, but he's been on Nintendo consoles recently, and he's kind of become a Nintendo character. Bomberman would be great on the Switch too. His moveset would obviously include bombs, but the different bombs he uses and the different ways he uses them could vary for his different attacks. It would be very cool to see this classic character fighting up against the likes of Mario, Sonic, and many more. Next up, we have another classic character, one of my favorite platforming heroes of all time, Ubisoft's Rayman. Rayman is one of my favorite characters of all time. Rayman Legends is one of my favorite games of all time. Rayman would be perfect in Smash Bros. That's why I was so upset when that leak from a while back by Artsy Omni turned out to be fake. But that doesn't mean that Sakurai can't work his magic again and bring Rayman into Smash Bros. For the Switch. It would be amazing to see what was once one of Mario's rivals fighting alongside him in this game. Next up, we have one that's a bit confusing because this might already be in the game, and that is Breath of the Wild Zelda. Zelda was pretty much the only highlight of Breath of the Wild's story because she pretty much was the story, there was nothing else. And while that is many people's biggest fault with the game, what we did get to see of Zelda was awesome. She had so much personality, and it was amazing to see that she wasn't just this invincible hero who will show up at the end and destroy Ganon with light, even though that's kind of what she did. However, I say that this is a bit of an odd character who might already be in because we see Breath of the Wild Link. So if they decide to redesign Link into his Breath of the Wild form, obviously they'd have to redesign Zelda as well, right? Only time will tell. Next up, we have a character that I don't know their name. This, or should I say these characters, haven't been announced yet, but seeing them in Smash Bros would personally be amazing. I'm talking about whatever the Gen 8 starters end up being. We've gotten a ton of fake leaks in the past of like drawings that said confidential on them, like talking about those fake starters. But once we eventually get to see these starters, hopefully at E3, I'd love to see them in Smash. It would honestly be so cool to be able to see Pokemon that aren't even out in their own games yet, fighting alongside the likes of Pikachu in Smash. Anyway, those are the characters I'd love to see in Smash, but I'm sure you guys have many choices of your own. Let me know what your choices are in the comments below, and I'll try and respond to every comment. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Thomas on the Switch Shop, signing off. Peace.